What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and yeah, hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is going to be a Throwback Thursday review for Falcon Crest season 3 episode 17. So Maggie done got all the goods on Jacqueline, right? But she has decided that the information is way too explosive and she is just not going to she's not going to write the article, right? Well, she's already written the article. She's just not going to turn the article in because she said it's just way too explosive. In the meantime, she getting prank phone calls on her line, and of course she doesn't know who's playing on her phone and why they're playing on her phone. She gonna find out later. Now, while that is going on, over to Angela's house, they're getting ready for this custody hearing, and Angela told them, "Listen, I don't care what you have to do. I don't care how you have to do it. You need to win this case. If you got to bribe the judge, bribe the judge. I don't really care what you have going on." And Philip tells Angela, "Listen, we all know that that baby don't belong to Lance. So why are you fighting so hard, especially since Melissa is pregnant? Like, you have a Falcon Crest heir on the way. You just got to wait for the baby to be born." Baby, Angela said, "First of all, don't be questioning me. I done told you, don't question me. Just do what I asked you to do. And second of all, knowing Melissa, that baby probably ain't Lance's either." I said Angela called her daughter-in-law a hoe. But she ain't lying. So, now down to the paper, Richard, he think he's sitting pretty. He done went and threatened the head of the cartel and let them know, "Listen, I have dirt on you, so back up. Let me have my little racetrack and leave me alone." So the little hitman come in there, and he lets Richard know, "Yeah, so I heard you made a little visit to, my boss and everything, and you threatening him. But all that evidence that you thought you had mysteriously is destroyed. All the records were burned down, in the building, and that microfiche that you thought you had securely locked away at that safe deposit box down to the Switzerland, yeah, that was destroyed too." So, of course, Richard is like, "Damn, well, whatever leverage I thought I had, I don't have no more, and they got me right where they want me." So Richard is, he's starting to feel it a little bit. His little plan ain't quite working the way he thought it was going to work or wanted it to work. So then Philip has a meeting with the judge, right? So it's Philip and it's Cole's attorney, and he wants the whole case thrown out, of course. And, they make their arguments, and Cole's attorney is like, "Listen, that's why we go to court. We go to court so we can settle the situation, so we can make a decision about who's right, who's wrong, so forth and so on." He was like, "I don't even understand why we having this whole conversation now. Like, this is why we're going to court." And the judge was like, "You know what? I agree. Okay. I'll take it into consideration and under advisement, but I'll make my final decision when we go to court because, I don't know if we need to throw this whole thing out." So Angela is still mad at Philip over him buying them grapes. And Philip is still acting like he don't understand why Angela is mad that he bought them grapes. But Philip did let Angela know because, Angela, of course, threatened to take away the business, take away her business from him and not do business anymore. And Philip was like, "At the end of the day, you want a slave. You want somebody that's just going to be a yes man. And I'm not a yes man. Like, that's just not that's not what I'm interested in." And so, at the end of the day, you didn't want Chase to get the grapes. Chase ain't get the grapes. I got the grapes. And I'm going to make me some wine, okay? Now, Maggie, not only is somebody playing on her phone, but somebody is following her too. And they followed Maggie to the gym where her and Emma had a little workout. Well, after the workout, they walk into the car and they talking, and the guy, it's the hitman from the mafia. He taking pictures, of Maggie. And Maggie's talking to Emma and letting Emma know why she's not going to run the story on Jacqueline. She said, "Listen, it's just way too explosive. It's just way too much information. I just can't do that to Chase." And Emma was like, "Well, girl, let me read it." And she said, "You know what? I think that's a good idea. I think you should read it because then you'll understand why I just can't do this article." So she gives the article to Emma. And, of course, the guys there taking pictures of the whole hand-to-hand exchange like they down on the corner and it's a $5 hand-to-hand situation or $20, whatever. Okay? And Emma gets to read that article, baby, and Emma can't put it down. It is so good. Emma's like, and Richard goes to talk to Emma, because the little birdie then told him that Emma got the story. And Richard was like, let me read it. And Emma said, no, this not mine, it's Maggie's. And Maggie already said that she's not going to run with the story. So you don't need to read it. If she wants you to read it, you had to get it from her. And so then Richard was like, at the end of the day, Jacqueline was my mama. I feel like I have a right to read it. Baby, Emma gonna tell him, maybe you will. Maybe you will read it. I said, see, Emma playing games. Baby, and Emma did exactly what I thought Emma was gonna do, baby. Emma then went to that night editor after everybody was gone, and was like, I need you to slide this article in the paper. And he was like, I don't know if I could get it in the morning's edition, but I should be able to get it in the final edition. For those of you that don't know how the newspaper used to work, you a little too old. The newspaper would have a morning edition, and then they would have a final edition that would come out like in the afternoon. So anything, they needed to update, fix, change, arrange, whatever. So it was gonna be in the afternoon version. But baby, in the meantime and in between time, Maggie talks to Chase and finally lets Chase know about the threat she got, and somebody else then called and basically told her, leave Jacqueline's image alone. And so of course Chase goes down to Richard and threatens Richard and was like, listen, back up off of Maggie. I know you don't want her to write this article, but don't be threatening my wife. And Richard was like, what you talking about? I wouldn't threaten her. He was like, well, I know, we've been getting these phone calls and this, that, and the other. And Richard was like, listen, I run this paper. I was never going to let that article be in the paper, so you don't have anything to worry about. No, he was like, so why would I waste my time threatening Maggie for something that I know ain't going to never happen? Mind you, he don't know that Emma done already did it, but okay. So then he's like, oh, wait a minute. It must have been the cartel. So now Chase is like, what you talking about, a cartel? What? And he was like, yeah, well, you didn't really know all of this, because, you were the good son. Because I was the bad son, I knew all the business, and I knew that there was a whole, mafia situation, cartel situation. And, of course, Chase was like, you lying. Who in the cartel? What are you talking about? And Richard basically breaks it down for him and lets him know. And so now Chase is like, so you mean to tell me that we was all in danger and you wasn't going to say nothing? And Richard was like, I wasn't going to let nothing happen to Maggie. Like, I told you I wasn't going to let the article run. But listen, these people probably aren't nobody to play with. So good thing I'm not going to run the article. So, of course, later on in the episode, Richard gets a phone call from the cartel basically saying, bruh, you don't read your own, what's up? And Richard was like, what you talking about? And they tell him that article is in the paper. And Richard was like, what are you talking about? They said, oh, you don't control nothing at your own paper? Baby, he sees that article on the front page. He was like, that's my death warrant. Because, baby, I don't know if it's no coming back from this one. So, this season is winding down, so you can see the direction that we kind of going to for the season finale. Shows like this used to have these explosive season finales where you had to wait all summer to find out what had happened. We remember the infamous Who Shot JR. Remember last season they had the shooting at the end, and it, we had to wait till we came back the next season to find out it was Jacqueline, that, all of that stuff. Now, while that is going on, Michael is down at the hospital still trying to convince Cole daddy-in-law to make peace with his daughter. And he ain't really trying to hear it, right? He's really not trying to hear it. And he get mad at Michael and he goes storming off again. Now, while Michael is down there trying to put families back together, his girlfriend, loosely put, she flirting with Richard. Now, I don't know what her issue is. I don't know what her angle is, because, people like her always have an angle. But Richard ain't no fool. And Richard was like, listen, I know black sheep when I see it, and she come, I don't know what her angle is, but I also know that, she the black sheep, and, that's always somebody to good, that's somebody to keep as a little ace in the hole, right? So, I say, here we go with this, because I don't know what her issue is. Now, while this is going on, Cole is down to the tailor getting his last little fit together for court the next day. And him and, what his wife name? Linda. Him and Linda are down to the place. And here come Lance coming in there bothering him. And of course, Lance said what he needed to say to get a reaction out of Cole. So he basically told Linda, when you're ready for a real man, call me. So of course, Cole, who I don't understand how many times you have to deal with the consequences of you losing your temper for you to really stop losing your damn temper. But that's what he did. He throws Lance on the floor. Now, mind you, in the grand scheme of things, it really wasn't that deep. He pushed him and he threw him on the floor. Like, it wasn't that deep. But of course, Lance limps out. He get the tailor of the shop, walks him out to the car. And when they get to the car, of course, Lance is laughing because it's all, an act. And they basically convinced the tailor to testify that it was a lot more serious than what it really was. So I was like, okay, this is what we're going to be doing in court, right? This is how the whole court situation is going to roll. So that night, Lance gets Charlie to beat his ass, okay? He gets Charlie to beat him up so that he can go into court looking crazy. So the next day, they in court, and everybody's there. And the judge actually sounded like he was leaning in Cole's direction until Lance walks up in there looking like he just went 10 rounds with Muhammad Ali, right? So they question what was going on. Of course, the tailor confirms the story that, Cole came in there. He was a raging animal and he beat his ass, and he tore the place up. And of course, they were like, it's a lie. But the judge was like, listen, I'd have reconsidered. Like, I was going to rule this way, but now I done reconsidered. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and drop this case, And I understand not knocking somebody when they down, but at the same time, I'm like, y'all should have been like, you did this. Like, you had a really good chance of getting your child until you couldn't hold on to your damn temper. Lance ain't never up to no good, right? But anyway, so Linda's dad goes to visit Michael to apologize for being so, such an ornery old man. And Michael lets him know, listen, this might be the perfect time. Because he was like, listen, I do miss my daughter, but I'm just stubborn. Like, I done painted myself in this corner now, and I'm just kind of stubborn. And so Michael says, well, she just got some really bad news today, so she going to need you more than ever. So, of course, Michael and the daddy go over to Chase's house, and they all reconcile, and everybody, they hugging and kissing and stuff. Everybody that made up. And Cole tells him, listen, we're not going to file an appeal. He said, one day Joseph is going to know I'm his daddy, but I just can't keep putting everybody through this. I can't keep putting Linda through it. I can't keep putting, my parents through it. And I don't want to keep putting Joseph through this. So at the end of the day, basically I screwed this up. And I'm going to have to just deal with the consequences of it. And that's just what it's going to be. Now, on one hand, I feel him and I understand where he's coming from. But on the other hand, I'm like, baby, you better fight for that. You better fight for your son until you done fighting. Because, yeah, he going to know, one day he going to know that you his daddy. But he going to probably also be asking, and why did you stop fighting for me? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, child, that was the episode. I just want to make sure I got everything in, child. Yeah, that was the episode. Let me know what y'all think. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.